If your jockeying feels slow, clunky, or useless, it's not your defenders, it's you. And in this video, I'll show you 3 steps that will exactly help you defend like a pro on FC25. The first step is anticipation. I have seen in my coaching sessions players getting absolutely destroyed just because they are very bad at anticipating the attacker, and you can never jockey properly if you're not good at anticipation. You need to be able to guess what the opponent is gonna do next. Well, you can't guess that correctly all the time. So what do you do in those situations? When we are defending 1v1, it is all about closing down his options, because remember, whenever you're gonna defend 1v1 as a defender, you'll be at a disadvantage because the attacker usually has more than one option, right? He can pass, he can exploit left or right of your defender, he can go in either direction. This is where it gets tricky, and so many of you players just go and bite. What do I mean when I say bite? Biting simply means tackling the opponent, right? We don't want to bite in the air because that way we just lunge and we get this animation. Once we get this animation, we are left for dead. Tackling on this game is important. I'm not saying tackling is not important, but at the same time, you have to remember, if you're gonna tackle in the air, you're gonna look like a headless chicken. That is why anticipation is important. This is why I tell you guys to learn how to attack properly, because once you know how to attack properly, you are able to jockey effectively as well. For instance, see, when I enter this animation, what is your first thought as a defender? That I'm gonna do the speed boost. So you as a defender, look at Lamine Yamal, you as a defender would naturally do this movement. So the opponent, if he ends up doing the speed boost, he comes and collides with your defender because you're giving yourself some space. This is one example of having good awareness or anticipation, right? Similarly, there are many other instances on the pitch where you have to use your anticipation. If he is a left-footed player cutting on his left, so you would obviously jockey like this. You'll try to cut his left foot down, but at the same time, you don't want to overcommit, because if I do this, totally overcommit, what happens? He can simply take a touch like this and beat me. And I'll be left for dead like, look, I'm gone now, right? Now, this is where it gets tricky. You need to be able to remember what your opponent can do on the ball. If he has a low-driven shot, that means he can take silly shots from narrow angles. So you have to stick really close to someone who has a low-driven shot trait. When you get close, that is when you can tackle the ball, not when you're away from them. And you can only improve your anticipation by playing the game more and watching better players play. That way it will become a part of your muscle memory. Once it's a part of your muscle memory, you'll be able to actually jockey like a pro without having to give it a second thought. Here is the second part. Running jockey versus slow jockey. There are 2 ways of jockeying in this game. That is the left trigger plus right trigger. Right? That is the running jockey. And then we have the left trigger only. That is the slow jockey. Now, both of these have a place in the game. If I come here and tell you, guys, only use the running jockey all the time, then I am wrong. Similarly, if I tell you just use slow jockey all the time, then I am wrong as well. Because in this game, almost every mechanic has a time and place. So when do you use the running jockey? Most of the times when you're defending in numbers, you want to use the running jockey button. Why? Because when you're defending in numbers, even if you do end up get beaten by the opponent, you can still recover with another player. But if you're defending 1v1, that means you are the last line of defense, right? And when you're doing running jockey, look at the animation. See, he is accelerating at a faster pace, of course, but at the same time, what is happening? He is having less control over the movement. Look at Valverde, right? He has a lot of pace, but at the same time, his movement, it's compromised. Now compare that with the slow jockey. See, less pace, but he has a lot of control on what he is doing. That means it's very hard for the opponent to beat me. So if someone is dribbling in and around the box, I should be using the slow jockey. Now, let's say he accelerates, right? He does a speed boost past me. That way, I have to chase him like this, right? If I am gonna chase him, then of course I should be only using the right trigger. Why the right trigger? Because it allows me to reach the maximum pace of my player. Now, if I double tap, I'll activate the explosive sprint. That way, I can reach up to him quicker. That isn't possible if I am just simply using run and jockey. So like I said, if you're chasing someone, you're gonna sprint. If you're cutting passing lanes, you're gonna use the running jockey. And if you're defending with numbers, right, that means, let's say I am defending with Valverde and I have my whole defensive line back, I of course should be using more aggressive running jockey. But if the opponent has more options against me and I am on the back foot, I need to absorb the pressure. And how do you absorb the pressure in this game? By holding the left trigger, slowing down, jockeying, and mirroring the opponent. That is my third point, mirroring the opponent. What is mirroring? Mirroring means you simply copy his movements. If he goes left, you go left. He goes right, you go right. Here, you don't use a lot of anticipation because you don't know what he can do. If he's playing with a double 5-star player, he can go left, he can go right, he can do a skill move, he can do so many things. That is why you have to accurately mirror him by using slow jockey. When you are mirroring the opponent, he gets confused, right? He has to think outside the box. And while you are mirroring him, there will be an opportunity for you to come closer. Now, talking about coming closer, guys, if you're gonna jockey, this is the pattern you want to follow. Jockey in, jockey out. Jockey in, jockey out. When you jockey out, what happens? You are letting him come closer. When you jockey in, you're giving him a signal that I am being aggressive. This is also otherwise referred to as passive aggressive defending. So when I go back, I'm being passive. When I go up, I'm being aggressive. If you look at pros, you'll see this is how they defend. It is all about being passive aggressive, and it's all about trapping the opponent. We're talking about jockeying, guys. It alone can make you a great defender, but it will never be able to make you a complete defender. That is why you need to check this video out here.